Good morning. I'm Scott Love with A to Z Insurance, your trusted choice independent agent. Today we're going to be talking about personal injury protection. What covers you no matter who is at fault? Personal injury protection is also known as PIP or Florida no fault. Personal injury protection is required in most states of the United States and is a required coverage in Florida, our state. Did you know that in Florida that even if you're just a pedestrian walking down the road, and if a car hits you and you own an automobile policy that has PIP coverage, you are covered for your medical injuries under your personal injury protection, even though someone else hit you and even though you were just walking down the street. What we want to do today is try to explain what PIP coverage is, what it covers, and a little bit about it to help us understand it better. PIP is a maximum of $10,000 per person payout. That's the maximum, $10,000 per person. There are four major components of PIP. There's medical expenses, lost wages, household services, and funeral expenses. Here's how that works. Up to 80% of that $10,000 total payout can be used for medical expenses incurred as a result of an auto accident. Up to 60% of that $10,000 maximum payout can be used to reimburse you for lost wages as a result of you being unable to perform normal working duties as a result of an auto accident. Up to 100% of the PIP, the full $10,000, can be used for household services such as cooking, cleaning, maid service, things where you're hurt so bad you can't do these things yourself and you have to hire someone to come in and perhaps cook, clean the house, things of that nature. And the fourth and final area in which PIP covers is funeral expenses or a death benefit up to $5,000 if someone actually is killed as a result of a car accident. Now keep in mind that PIP coverage will always pay first no matter who's at fault. Let me illustrate this with an example. Let's say that Jack and Jill are going on a date up the hill to fetch a pail of water. At the top of the hill, a driver hits them and knocks their car tumbling down the hill, and Jack and Jill are hurt pretty bad. Now normally you would expect that Jack and Jill would expect the guilty party, the one who hit them, to pay for their medical expenses. But under Florida law, Jack and Jill's PIP coverage will pay first, and then if that is not sufficient, then the guilty party's bodily injury limits would pay the balance. So Jack and Jill, if they want to claim it as medical expenses, lost wages, household services, or if one of them even was killed, as funeral expenses, they will be reimbursed out of their own PIP coverage on their auto policy up to a maximum of $10,000 apiece. Now, if Jack and Jill are hurt so bad and their expenses exceed $10,000 apiece, then they could rightfully expect the guilty party to pay the additional medical expenses out of the guilty party's bodily injury limits. PIP fraud has been a very big problem in Florida the last few years. It's the main reason why our auto rates have skyrocketed the last 3 or 4 years. Florida last year passed the PIP reform bill in an effort to combat PIP fraud. Let me take a second to back up and explain what PIP fraud is. PIP fraud is people staging accidents and pretending they're hurt and filing fraudulent claims at auto injury clinics, the emergency room, and other places. Organized crime has been associated with this and has been behind much of the sophistication, making it very hard for law enforcement to stop. The PIP reform bill passed last year by the Florida legislature attempted to curb some of this faking of accidents and filing of fraudulent claims, and here are some of the key components of the bill. Now someone must file a PIP claim within 14 days of the accident, whereas before it was a much greater period to come back and file a claim. Secondly, when they go to the emergency room, they can only be reimbursed for up to $2,500 of the total $10,000, whereas in the past they could have claimed the full 10 right at the emergency room if they wanted. So now it's up to $2,500 only can be paid at the emergency room unless a licensed professional, such as a doctor, merits that it's necessary to spend the full amount as a result of very bad injuries. The good news is that from the auto insurance industry, reports indicate the bill may be starting to work, which is what it was intended to do. We have seen auto insurance rates recently stabilizing and in some cases even decreasing. That's wonderful news, and we need to hear that. So call us if you would like us to review your coverages, make sure you have the proper coverages, and to shop your policy and perhaps save you some money.